Very much. Let's get more now on Herbalife's earnings. Let's bring in Herb Greenberg, editor of Herb Greenberg's Reality Check and CNBC contributor, and Brian Boland, stock strategist at Zacks Investment Research, who owns the stock. Welcome to you both. So, Herb, I know I'm gonna keep saying Herb and Herb. Herb, what does this earnings report? What does everything that's happening with this company? What does that mean for people who have been calling this a pyramid scheme or skeptical about its prospects?
Well, Kelly, as I've said to anyone who will listen for the past year or so, the earnings and whatever the company reports are really irrelevant in the scheme of things because, you know, if you don't believe there are issues with the company's underlying business model, then you look at it and you look at it like you would any other company. But if you do believe there are issues with the underlying business model, then you have to look at this and say, hey, you know, all of the other things may matter, and these numbers may be built on something that may be unsustainable at some point in the future.
Is that your view, Herb?
Pardon?
Is that your view on this company? That it's fundamentally broken?
Oh, my view on the company and the industry in general is that the business models have to be reset and reeled in by regulators, because that's what, when we did our CNBC documentary Selling the American Dream, that's the bottom line of what we had. There are issues.
Okay, so Brian, you own the shares. What is Herb missing? And what do you think about the quarter?
What Herb is missing is that numbers always matter, and that's the important thing. You know, the concept is one thing, and the concept here behind Herbalife is that there is a business model that, you know, while people think is a bad thing, there's a lot of MLMs out there, multi-level marketing, business models that are very well accepted. The Avon business model is accepted. You know, there's a bunch of others that are out there. You know, if you take a look at it in terms of, the key linchpin here is this a pyramid scheme based on that? Well, if so, then how about if Bill Sturritz buys the company or starts to run it and puts Herbalife in the grocery stores like he has for Post and its cereals? And if there isn't that,
Go ahead, Herb.
Well, no, then I could say, how about if the regulators come in, or Senator, is asking some questions, Senator Markey, and find something through their inquiry that raises questions. We can go either way of what if. The question right now is there are some concerns in the business model. That's why I look at the numbers and I say, come on, guys, we know what the numbers are. You either take it at face value or you don't.
It looks like investors are taking it here at Herb at face value, though. I mean, they're at 4%. They like what they saw in the quarter.
Yeah, of course.
So it's got to extinguish.
You know what, Kelly?
Yeah?
And you know what? It's interesting. They're below where they were when the company came out and did the convert recently. You've had this stock all across the board. Plus, take a look at some of the big investors who've invested in this thing, whether it's George Soros or Heyman Capital, Kyle Bass. They bought and they sold. If this is such a great model, why aren't they sticking with it at these levels?
Brian?
You know, you can't fault someone for making a quick buck, especially when there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace. We had the news back in January about China looking into the business model at Nu Skin, and that hurt shares of Herbalife as well. But, I think the idea is when you look at Herbalife, you have to take it as a, one-off example. Only 10% of the sales come from China, and right now, if you're looking at the company over long-term perspective, it's fought these battles again and again about its business model and has come out on top.
And a well-publicized battle, as well as the shares adding about 4% after hours on those earnings. Thank you both for your perspective. An important story. And coming up next, raising the minimum wage.